What kind of a mount are you looking for? A backyard pet your children can grow up with? Or a reliable trail animal to help you enjoy the high country? Do you love a reining spin or the intricate moves of the dressage arena? Do you long to be flying high on a jump course? Or does driving a Surrey with the fringe on top sound like your cup of tea? Whatever kind of equine companion you're looking for, you'll want one that will perform in a safe, obedient manner. The purpose of these programs is to help you understand mules and donkeys and learn how to handle and train them correctly. Now, we know that not everyone watching owns a mule. Some of you own horses. Well, there's something here for you too. You'll notice that these are simple, easy-to-follow lessons. They're designed to teach you a variety of correct training methods for horses as well as for mules and donkeys. The result? Whether his ears are long or short, you'll have a well-mannered, well-trained animal. This program features segments from an award-winning video series created for the equine industry by acclaimed trainer and educator Meredith Hodges. Because of this, you'll hear occasional references to the videos and also to the workbooks and field cards that are included with the video series. The field cards that come with the videos are a great training tool that can be taken right into the arena. We'll be sure to give you information on the complete training series later in the program. Now let's learn a little about Meredith Hodges and why so many people rely on her as their training consultant.
I tried to make my techniques really simple. How do they work for you?
Well, they're wonderful. They're step by step, complete with photos and everything. They're easy to follow, they're easy to understand, and they're thorough. You know, one of the things with Miss Izzy, because I was so green and didn't really know what to do, is, you know, if I would take her up to something and she would be afraid of it, I would just, okay, well, we won't go there. Well, you taught me the confidence by using your program that if I take it step by step and take it carefully and follow your directions and give Izzy the time and the praise and everything, she's eventually going to do it. And I was totally amazed. And with praise and everything, and it just taught me the confidence. It's like, okay, well, she went over the tarp. Now we can do something else. This is good.
That's right.
I bonded so well with her. I mean, she's like my best friend. I love her dearly.
Mules are wonderful animals. They're strong, intelligent, affectionate, with a great sense of humor, and what incredible athletes. But training a mule is different than training a horse. When you're training a mule, you have to take into consideration the donkey half as well as the horse half.
Today, we will address the importance of ground driving as an integral step in your equine's training process. Your animal not only learns rein cues, but you will both begin to develop rhythm, balance, cadence, and coordination through the exercises in this program that will greatly enhance your riding and driving experience.
Each week our program covers a different phase of management and training. No matter what kind of equine companion you're interested in, you'll find techniques that will help you reach your training goals and bond with your animal in the process. Just remember, the keys to success are patience, kindness, and understanding.
Ground driving is an essential part of the training process, especially with mules. Today, we'll start with the basics and then have some fun.
Mules are wonderful animals. They're strong, intelligent, affectionate, and what a sense of humor. But training a mule is different from training a horse in some respects, but in most cases it's the same. If you're using this training video for training a horse, we'll be sure to emphasize the techniques that you cannot use with the horse.
In tape number 1, we talked about the differences between horses and mules. Here's a reminder. The offspring of a male donkey, a jack, and a female horse, a mare, is called a mule. A horse has 64 chromosomes and a donkey has 62. The mule ends up with 63. Mules can be either male or female, but because of the odd number of chromosomes, they can't reproduce. A male mule still needs to be gelded, though, to be a safe, sociable animal. Donkeys and mules have been labeled stubborn for centuries, but it's really only an abundance of common sense and a strong desire for self-preservation.
Remember that a mule has to see a purpose for learning.
You must also persuade your mule to do what you want. You cannot force him. Talk to him a lot. Give him plenty of reward for his good behavior and discipline him gently for bad. Your goal is resistance-free training. Make sure you take these training steps in sequence or you may encounter difficulties and resistance to training. Refer often to your workbook. It contains everything we'll cover in this video, but in greater detail. And don't forget to slip your field cards into your pocket when you're ready to work with your mule. Ground driving is an essential part of the training process, especially with mules. Here he'll learn all the fundamentals of riding, but without the stress of having a rider. Ground driving builds his trust in you and his confidence in himself. He'll learn the directional rein cues and set the stage for resistance-free training to come. Plus, you might even discover you have a real driving star here. For this stage of training, you'll need splint boots, an English saddle or a lightweight Western saddle, a surcingle to go over the saddle, his bridle, the elbow pull, and a set of lunge lines to start. Use two 12 to 15-foot lunge lines, each a different color. Get in the habit of always attaching one color on the right and the other one on the left. When your mule knows the basics of ground driving, then you will want to use regular drive lines to fine-tune his performance. With the elbow pull in place, snap on the lines and run them through the rings on the surcingle, or tie your stirrups together and run the lines through them. Stand in the center of the round pen and ask your mule to work around you. Spend plenty of time on the basics. The elbow pull will help him maintain his balance and correct position. He needs to learn to deal with the lines on his body. Let the outside line drape over the top of his back for a while. When two lines don't bother him, you can drop the outside line down behind his rear and above his hocks and lunge him that way for a while. Your purpose in doing this is to make sure he understands the transition of receiving control from one side, as with single line lunging, to receiving control from both sides coming from behind his body. Reinforce your voice commands with gentle cues from the lines to turn, to change gaits, and to halt. As he settles down, you can even ask for a reverse by having him turn into the fence and using the lines to aid. Don't yank or jerk the lines. Go slowly and give him time to respond. Be prepared to spend a week or two getting your mule used to lunging with the lines. When he's relaxed and comfortable at the walk, you're ready to work your way in behind him. Again, your goal is for you and your mule to learn to move forward on your cue, to change gaits, to turn, to halt, and to back. Don't worry if he's a little goosey at first about having you behind him. Talk to him in a soothing voice and praise him when he walks quietly. Notice that we're not using a lunge whip at this point. We're using voice commands. Later, we'll add the lunge whip to help him understand more complex cues. Start by asking him to walk on. Once he walks quietly forward, ask him to turn. You can teach him new verbal cues, G for right or ha for left, and give gentle pulls on the line to indicate the direction while verbally giving the command you wish, either G or ha. Remember, long, hard pulls on the line will cause an overreaction and create a stressful situation. Pull gently, straight back towards your hip. Be sure to give him plenty of room for the turn and plenty of release. When he learns to turn, you're ready to work on the halt. When your mule is confident about responding to the bit for slowing down, stopping, and turning, it's time he learns to back.
By now you've noticed that your mule has his own style of learning and his own pace. Mules are very much like people. Some learn more quickly than others.
Take your time and make sure these training sessions are pleasurable for you both. You're perfecting your own style of training here and establishing a good rapport with your mule, a rapport that will last a lifetime.
It won't take long for your mule to master voice commands and rein cues.
Soon he will respond to turns by merely vibrating your fingers. By now he should be used to having you behind him. It's time to fine-tune his responses by moving closer to his rear end. By moving closer, your lines are shorter and your contact is closer. He can respond more quickly to your cues, and you can control his movements with more finesse. Now you can take him out of the round pen into a larger arena. Here you can practice figure eights, circles, and serpentines. As he becomes better, you add in the patterns outlined in your workbook: hourglass, circles, serpentines, and lateral moves. Here's a tip. Lead your animal through a complex pattern before you drive it. To teach the lateral, steady your mule's head and body with your lines and use the whip to initiate the lateral movement. It's a subtle give and take you and your mule can master with a little practice. By the way, get in the habit of holding your driving whip in your right hand. You can even take him out to the obstacle course. As he becomes more familiar with what's expected of him, he will become more responsive to the cues. At this point, you will have a pretty good idea about whether or not your mule is a candidate for further driving training. If he's calm and continues to learn commands in the open with a minimum of fuss, great. Tape 3 will show you how much fun you can have training your mule to drive. There's nothing like driving in a parade or even trotting down a country road with a cartload of kids. On the other hand, if he's excitable and isn't showing a lot of common sense, simply lower your expectations. You might be able to hitch him to a vehicle when he's older or further along in his training.
Boy, there's a lot more to ground driving than meets the eye, but aren't you glad you added it to your training? Isn't this fun?
Well now, Pard, you and your mule have accomplished a lot in this tape. Your mule has learned voice commands, rein and pressure cues through lunging and on the long lines. You have greatly simplified the braking process. Now he's ready to be hitched to a vehicle or to be saddled.
After this break, we'll evaluate whether your mule is ready for the next phase of training.
Colorful Colorado, with its majestic Rocky Mountains and wide open spaces, also boasts the Loveland Long Ears Museum and Sculpture Park at the Lucky 3 Ranch, home of some of the finest mules and donkeys in the world. This working ranch is just 40 miles north of Denver. World-renowned authority on mules and donkeys, Meredith Hodges, invites you and your family for an adventure in learning you won't want to miss. Come visit the Lucky 3 Ranch, meet Meredith, her champion mules and donkeys, and take in the beauty of her long ears art for the experience of a lifetime.
Hi, I'm Meredith Hodges, and welcome to the Lucky 3 Ranch. I get a lot of letters and emails from people with training and behavior questions about their equines. So I'm going to take you back to the beginning with a series of training tips that work for all equines. The introduction to lunging tack and equipment should begin with the bridle and either a surcingle or a Western or English saddle. The bridle should be an English bridle with an egg butt snaffle bit and a flash noseband. The flash noseband will encourage the equine to begin to take an easy contact with the bit. This type of English bridle will help to prevent bad habits in your equine, like flinging his tongue over the bit or gaping his mouth. The saddle should be equipped with a crupper to hold the saddle in the correct position on your equine's back. I prefer to start with the surcingle because it has very little weight and has the rings to attach the elbow pull. At this point in time, your equine is just beginning to develop core strength. He doesn't yet have the strength to carry a lot of additional weight while remaining in good equine posture. If using a saddle, be sure it is a very lightweight saddle for the same reason. Some Western saddles can be very heavy and should not be used at this point in your equine's training. A heavy saddle can cause him to aggressively fight to correct his balance with adverse behaviors like crow hopping or bucking. In the beginning, it's helpful to use splint boots or leg wraps for support and to prevent injury should he mistakenly trip or step on himself. He can be lunged in this tack once just to get used to the saddle and bridle, and should then be introduced to the elbow pull. This is a device I use to help the equine stay in good equine posture until he has the strength to hold this posture on his own. It is adjusted loosely and only comes into play when the equine raises his head so high that he hollows his neck and back. In the beginning, he will only be able to hold the correct posture intermittently for a few strides at a time until he is strong enough to consistently hold the posture. It will then become his normal way of going. The elbow pull acts much the same as a balance bar does for the beginning ballet dancer. It provides support until they can do all the movements in the open and maintain balance in good posture throughout all the movements. You can tell when your equine is finally strong enough and ready to be mounted when the elbow pull remains loose throughout the entire lesson.
Here's an engineer. How did you know that? So we go see a huge mule. Because this head, too fine. Struck with the head, that's all you gotta do. Okay, come on, boys, let's go. Come on.
Every owner knows that a well-taken care of equine is a happy equine. More and more, a technique being used to enhance our animal's overall conditioning is equine massage.
What you have to realize is you're training an animal in their muscle tissue, and their muscle tissue has to be able to perform the task that you're asking the animal to perform. If you're having a hard time doing the advanced things, you need to go back to the beginning. The massage helps break the pattern of the neurons that fire to that muscle, that tell it to contract, to contract, to contract.
With proper instruction, just about anyone can learn to give their equine the benefit of basic massage.
I've been working on equines for a long time, and a lot of people look at you and hope that you can just come out and make an animal better. And you can't do that. It takes two pieces, the massage as well as the exercise. And the exercise is actually more important than the massage. And that's something that people really have to understand. And Meredith's tapes do that. And a lot of people don't want to take that long a time frame. They just want to do their 60 days, get on the animal and ride them. But that's not really where you can go with their backs.
For more intensive therapeutic massage, be sure to consult a professional. Equine massage not only enhances your animal's health and overall condition, it's also a deeply personal and rewarding bonding experience for both of you.
Many of you who love your horses also love your dogs. This type of massage can be beneficial for all your pets. If you want to improve your animal's quality of life, I can help. I can either teach you how to do it, or I can massage your dogs for you. Contact me at dogmassage.com.
Hi, I'm Meredith Hodges, and welcome to the Lucky 3 Ranch. I get a lot of letters and emails from people with training and behavior questions about their equines. So I'm going to take you back to the beginning with a series of training tips that work for all equines. The round pen is an essential part of your equine's lunging training. Ideally, it should be 45 feet in diameter for optimum use. In the beginning stages of your equine's posture and balance training, smaller circles can be harmful to his overall physical development, and any larger would make it difficult to reach him with your whip. In the round pen, you will first use your verbal commands to simply define out loud what your equine is doing. This is done so he will begin to associate the words with his actions. Be consistent with your use of words. Equines will learn simple words and later phrases and multiple commands. This is much like children first learn their ABCs and later words, sentences, and paragraphs. Equines can eventually learn to understand our language, they just can't speak it. Just as we prepared the equine for body awareness, we need to pay attention to our own body language. Different body positions elicit different responses from the equine. To send him to the rail, you should use big motions with your arms, and when appropriate, the whip. Keep your eyes in the same position on his hindquarters while you rotate in the middle and follow his action as he does the circle. Count the number of rotations each way to be sure you are developing his body symmetrically. If he is stiff on one side, then just do a couple of extra rotations in that direction. When he is relaxed and moving along rhythmically, you can do less. To slow him down, just move your eyes towards his head and step sideways and more in front of him. To speed him up, you may have to abandon your position in the middle and follow closer behind him, but not directly behind. To reverse, always turn away from the direction of travel and step about 15 feet in front of him. He will eventually learn when he sees you turn the other way, the command for the reverse is coming. For the halt, just move your eyes forward towards his head, then move your body sideways and more in front of him. Say his name and give the verbal command to whoa. Be sure to allow him to drop down through his gait slowly to avoid injury by any abrupt movement. Give yourself plenty of time not only to teach your equine to lunge, but also to learn the elements of good communication through verbal commands and body language yourself. Trot, trot.
artwork inspired by mules and donkeys is quickly gaining popularity. Tennessee mule artist Bonnie Shields has the uncanny ability to capture the fun-loving nature of these free-spirited animals.
They were like a horse, but they weren't like a horse. They had a little different body. They used their body a different way. They certainly had a different mental attitude. So they started intriguing me as an artist, and I kept finding the differences between them and the horse, both physically and in their reaction to things. So that started my love affair with the mule. When you deal with the mule, you're not always in charge. So it takes a little bit of a different kind of personality to appreciate the mule and to work with her.
She was the only artist that could really capture the essence of mules and donkeys. Mules and donkeys are really good teachers and teachers of life lessons. And Bonnie has just been an inspiration to me ever since. Wow, how'd it do?
Whoa. I know that all through the years, Meredith gives tours to the ranch. But what a wonderful addition to this whole ranch would be a sculpture park just for the mules and the donkeys. So I just thought it was an awesome idea. And then she let me be part of it. It's a wonderful thing, and when you come to visit the Lucky Three, it's just an added bonus. Mule people, you reckon I could get Meredith to make a tape on how to teach your mule to shovel snow? I sure gonna try. Wish me luck.
Just a wonderful human being, and working with her is always humorous. She is just funny as the day is long, and so I thought that she would be absolutely perfect as the illustrator for the Jasper series that I wanted to do.
The Daydreamers was inspired by a thing that I saw years ago. I heard about this family up in Kentucky. They'd been working tobacco out in the field with their mules. And one of the boys, he was laying across this mule's back, laying in the shade. They'd been working, and he was resting on the back of his mule in the shade. That just kind of stuck with me, and I thought, gee, a kid like that, you know, he thinks he's stuck on the farm. He thinks he's stuck doing all this terrible old work, and he's laying up there and he's daydreaming about getting away from it all. So that's where Daydreamer came from. Sculpture's not the only thing I do. Matter of fact, I got into sculpture maybe a little later in my career. Mostly, I was known for my pencil drawings and my acrylic paintings for many, many years.
Long ears art. It may be whimsical, like a cartoon, or it may simply be breathtaking. Long ears are taking their place in the world of art, and it's the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
By now, your mule is used to working several times a week for 45 minutes at a time, with the last 15 minutes spent on something easy and relaxing.
You're building on that solid, loving, working relationship you built from the time he was a foal. But now you're ready for the fun part of his training.
Now, folks, just a reminder that Meredith's animals have not been pre-trained. You're seeing them react for the first time to her methods.
Basically, horses and mules have two distinctive reactions to danger, flight or freeze. An animal with a strong flight instinct is not a good choice for driving training. Rather, pick an animal who will wait to see what's happening rather than running off and then taking a peek. And for heaven's sake, don't think that if you have a horse or mule that you can't ride because he bucks or rears, that maybe he'll drive. No. Choose an animal who will not only be a pleasure to drive, but will also be safe. Before you begin the next step in your mule's training, make sure your mule has learned his groundwork lessons well. When he's responding obediently to your verbal commands and rein cues coming from both sides and behind his body, he's ready to learn to respond to directions from a rider on his back.
By the way, put your ball cap away. You're going to be using a riding helmet or a hard hat from now on.
If you've gone through this training step by step, your mule is not likely to be frightened or surprised by your mounting and being on his back. But if he were to bolt or buck, a hard hat could prevent a concussion or serious injury. And around the Lucky Three Ranch, it's always safety first.
Another safety tip, never wear tennis shoes when riding. Sticking to standard cowboy boots or riding boots is best. And you can use half straps with low-profile boots to protect your legs and keep them from being pinched in the English saddle.
It's also important to know that mules mature much more slowly than horses. Many people ride 2-year-old horses, but a mule might not be physically prepared to carry the weight until he's over 3. That's because a mule's knees take about 6 months to a year longer to fuse than those of a horse. Your vet can x-ray the knees to make sure that he's sound and ready to carry a rider. Mules may not have the mental capacity to really learn until they're close to 3 years old, since their attention span is too short at that age. So take your time, be patient, and be content with an extra session of lunging and ground driving. That way, your mule's muscles and mind will be ready to take on more training. Remember, the Spanish riding school in Vienna doesn't allow their Lipizaners to be ridden until they're 4 years old. You have to wait until your animal is old enough to understand what you are teaching and is physically capable of the added stress of a rider. By the way, as a special bonus to this video, we've included one of Mad Jack's wonderful poems at the end of the tape. Neither horses nor mules would need to be shod if they were allowed to exist without carrying weight or traveling on hard surfaces. Most mules aren't so lucky, though, and thus the need for a farrier. My young mules who are just beginning saddle training wear regular shoes on the front only, since they bear most of their weight on their front end. Broodstock and younger animals go barefoot but are trimmed regularly at 6 to 8 week intervals. All other stock is shod according to purpose. For instance, the reining mules wear slider plates in the rear. The jumpers might have a borium shoe for non-skid. Racing donkeys and mules have racing plates, and in winter we might add a rim pad to prevent snowballing. In other words, each athlete is given a set of shoes designed to aid in the best performance in his event.
Many people think that mules have harder feet than horses and don't need to be shod.
There may be many animals out there that don't need to be shod, but there are also a lot who do, and each individual should be checked regularly. Routine daily foot care means regular use of a hoof pick to clean your mule's feet. Special attention may be needed in very dry or very wet environments, and these details are covered in your workbook, which has a large section devoted to hoof care. Soundness begins with the feet, so just remember that whether your mule is shod or not, it's your responsibility to make sure his hooves are properly trimmed and maintained in a healthy condition.
Folks, my name is Mad Jack Hanks, and you're fixing to understand why they call me Mad Jack. I'd like to do a little poem for you called The Dude. Well, the dude came back with all of his stack. The wrangler was relieved and yet amazed, for the mule sweat was dripping yet, and it's plain he'd been badly dazed. How was your ride? The wrangler pried as he slowly closed the gate. Boy, it was fun. I made him run down off the mountain onto the interstate. Now, we didn't see that truck before we got struck. In his plane, we nearly met our fate, but it was a glancing blow off of that GTO, and that guy called me a stupid jerk. But we weren't to blame. It's just a shame I couldn't get that silly saddle horn to work.
Now you can evaluate whether your mule is ready for that first ride. See you next week.
Having problems? Need an accessible trainer? Whether you're just a weekend trail rider or showing, the principles of training are the same. You want a safe and reliable equine companion. Produced by Meredith Hodges, Training Mules and Donkeys, a logical approach to long ears, will help you build a good working relationship with your animal. Meredith reveals the secrets of successful maintenance and resistance-free training that can be implemented by anyone, resulting in a satisfying partnership between you and your equine. Meredith answers your training questions promptly via mail or phone. Her books are great general resources, and her videos are detailed, outlining the day-to-day exercises needed to produce a versatile and dependable equine companion. Meredith's techniques work with all equines. Do you have children, grandchildren? Check out Jasper, the story of a mule. For more information, check out our website at www.lucky3ranch.com or call 1-800-816-7566.
Mules are working their way into the hearts of people everywhere. If you'd like to know more about these wonderful long-eared animals, you can contact us at 1-800-816-7566 or get on our website at lucky3ranch.com.
dusty old quilt hung crooked on a couch in an old stone house